While this is a comparison of both AIs from Buckshot Roulette and Fate's Gamble, I know that some people who are watching this probably don't even know what Fate's Gamble is. So keep in mind, there might be some confusing information on that game for anyone who hasn't played it. I recommend you play the browser version if you can. But either way, I won't force you. With that out of the way, let's get to the AI comparison and how I can improve the opponent from Fate's Gamble. The opponent has a 50-50 chance on deciding to use items, so basically it's a coin flip. If he decides to use items, he will look through almost all the items to see what he will grab. If that item he wants to use does not exist, he will look for another. He will do this 10 times till he gives up and decides to use the gun. Now, the opponent shoots you if he knows it's alive. And the opponent shoots himself if he knows it's a blank. This, of course, is affected by the red flag or the I card. If he doesn't know what the next shell is, he either shoots himself, shoots you, or spins the chamber, compared to the dealer.
On top of that, he's going to shoot himself if there are more blanks than there are lives, which is kind of fucking stupid, but that's what he does, alright? And if he's going to shoot randomly if the lives and blanks are equal. He's going to do a coin flip similar to the old AI, determine who to shoot at if they, like, let's say there's 3 live, 3 blank.
If he knows where the live is, he will focus on using red flags to get the live. More on the red flag later. Alright, so now we're going to compare their items and see how the dealer and the opponent use them. Now, of course, Buckshot Roulette and Fate's Gamble are kind of different. Fate's Gamble is more luck-based and Buckshot Roulette is more skill-based. So it's not going to be a perfect comparison, but for funsies and also to help understand how I can make the AI better, I feel like it would be best to compare them. Okay, so compared to how the dealer uses the items, Delightful Kiss Boy is going to talk more about how the dealer uses items in specific scenarios. Of course, the opponent is nothing like that, since I've already explained, he picks items at random. So there could be a lot of things I can learn from this. So the eye card and magnifying glass, basically they're the same thing, alright? However, there's one thing to note. He'll use this item after every other item is used. Well, sorry, I can rephrase that a little bit better. He'll use this item after he's done using the items he picked. So keep that in mind. But anyways, a problem that I found out with him is that he does not combine it with the 4-leaf clover, which would really help him, but he doesn't do it. Okay. The opponent does not mess around with healing syringes. I mean, the dealer from Buckshot might like use the cigarette smartly, but like the opponent takes the healing syringes very seriously. He uses it if he's ever shot or damaged in any way. He will use it, okay? That's the same as dealer. Now, a smart thing to do when you're under health is to use a steal card and then steal a healing syringe so you can heal yourself, which is something the opponent doesn't really do, and that's something I want to fix. It would definitely make him a lot smarter. And on the topic of steal card, while this isn't about steal card directly, when he uses it, he will always want to take this healing syringe, even if you have the tarp on, and even if he doesn't even need it. So you will decide. So you'll have to decide on whether you want to steal it back or not. Unfortunately, there is a bug where the opponent can use the healing syringe even when the player uses padlock on him. This will be fixed. So with the zip ties, compared to the dealer, he unfortunately does not use them if there are only 2 rounds left. That's something I would like for the opponent to do. So this will be fixed. Now, Delightful Kiss Boy brings up something about the handcuffs and how the dealer uses them.
He's going to use handcuffs anytime there are more than 2 shells left. So it doesn't matter if they're all blank. As long as there are 2 or more shells in the loadout, he's going to slap those onto you. Alright? It's kind of stupid, but that's what he does. So even if there's 2 blanks left and he goes to him, he can just shoot himself twice, keep his handcuffs, but he chooses not to. He wants to handcuff you to show you who's boss before he passes the turn back to you, I guess. There you go. Pretty stupid.
Now, what he said there was kind of funny. The opponent technically doesn't do this. The thing about Fate's Gamble is that there will always be a live round, because there's always one round, and so once you get that one live round, the whole chamber resets, right? And so the opponent never needs to really worry about when to use zip ties. I guess the only time he could be stupid when using them is with the red flag. And I'll get into the red flag right now. Okay, this is an interesting one. Beer and red flag technically aren't the same. When I created the first beta of Fate's Gamble, the red flag acted exactly the same as the beer. Of course, I got rid of beta 1. You can't play it, but maybe I'll put it back on later on if people really want to play the first beta. But, however, in beta 2, the red flag acts way differently. The red flag actually shows what round is inside and skips it, while the beer shows the round when it takes it out. This is because in Fate's Gamble, when you shoot a blank at the opponent or yourself, it never comes out of the chamber, it just skips. So it's kind of the same thing. So you're just going in a constant loop till you find the live. Anyways, let's get into a comparison. When the opponent picks the red flag and uses it to find a live, after he's done using every item except the iCard, he'll calculate how much red flags he needs in order to activate the live round. So let me give you an example. If there are 3 rounds, the live being at the end, and he has 1 red flag, he'll use the red flag right away, shoot himself, and then shoot you.
He chugs a cold one if there's more than 1 shell left. First of all, he will never use beer if there's only 1 shell left, regardless if it's blank. He just simply will not do it. If he doesn't know what the next shell is, then he will also... Basically, if he doesn't know what the next shell is, he will always use beer. But if he also knows the next shell is blank, he will still use beer, even though that's kind of dumb because he could just shoot himself to get the blank out of the way. So him drinking a beer there is just kind of fucking stupid. But yeah, couldn't he just clear the blank? Yeah, but he loves a good brewski with the bros, you know? Who can blame him? Who can blame him? I mean, any opportunity to get some of that sweet, sweet Digita beer.
So with the plasma cutter, if he decides to shoot you, he has a 1 in 5 chance of using the plasma cutter. To be honest, I may or may not get rid of it. This means this is one of the only items that he doesn't choose randomly. Yeah, so that little part where I was talking about how he chooses items randomly, he will never pick the handsaw. He will never pick the plasma cutter.
I want to shoot this guy. If he has a handsaw, he's going to saw it off. Doesn't matter if it was a coin flip. Doesn't matter if he knows, the next shell is live. It's all the same. As long as he's going to shoot you and he has a handsaw, he's going to use it if he can. This means that's going to be one of the last items he uses for the turn.
Most of the time, he only uses this item when he's absolutely certain the current round is live. Compared to the dealer AI, he will only decide on using it if he's been shot 2 times, which in my opinion makes him smarter than the dealer, but Delightful Kiss Boy has a different opinion.
Because, the health cap is 3, I don't know. Sometimes it makes sense to actually do that as a player, but we'll get into that in a different video. Maybe a tier list video, who knows.
He'll use it even when it could kill him. This is something I also want to change. For the most part, he's usually safe when using it, especially compared to the healing syringe. Okay, so the opponent AI, when they use a steal card, they'll steal specific items. I've talked about this before, but of course his priority is stealing healing syringes. But if you don't have any, he'll steal what he thinks is the best from your inventory. So he kind of goes through this process of identifying which is best. This, of course, is nothing like how the dealer in Buckshot Roulette acts.
He's only going to use adrenaline after he decides he doesn't want to use any of his own items except for maybe adrenaline. So he's going to go through every single one of his other items and see, do I want to use this? Do I want to use this? Using the criteria outlined above. And then what he's going to do after that is when he runs out of his own items that he wants to use, he's going to start checking your items one after the other in the order that you pick them up.
When he knows there's a live, he will always use Steal Card to steal your plasma cutter if he doesn't have one. Now, there is items that are only in Buckshot Roulette and items that are only in Fate's Gamble. So I'm not going to talk about every item from Buckshot Roulette and every item from Fate's Gamble. I'm only going to talk about the ones in comparison. Anyways, let's talk about their shooting logic. With the opponent, he chooses to shoot himself or the player randomly. Most of the time, this is not a bad idea, because Fate's Gamble is way more luck-based than Buckshot Roulette. So just randomly choosing to shoot yourself or the opponent actually works really well. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Please go check out Delightful Kiss Boy's video on the dealer AI versus the alt dealer AI, and I think you'll like it. Go check out Fate's Gamble. It's free and requires no download. You can just play the browser right then and there. Just keep in mind it's a beta. That's all I have for today. Bye-bye!